Hello and welcome to another video by ES Repair. I am your host, MrFixit. Coming up in this video, I'm going to show you the importance about backing up your computer's data, and there's two ways that you can do this. Most of you probably didn't think about backing up your data was necessary because, hey, it's a brand new computer, right? Well, what could go wrong? Well, a lot of things can go wrong. Just because the computer's brand new doesn't mean it won't fail today, tomorrow, or a month from now. There's always that possibility. The motherboard could go out, the hard drive could go out, you may even get a virus on your computer, some kind of hard drive failure, user error. I mean, you know, hey, we're humans, we make mistakes all the time. It happens, okay? But are you prepared? If your computer was to crash right now, can you restore your files? Think about it. Now, I know many of you have thought that backing up your computer is a lot of work, time consuming, but the reality is it's not. It's not that difficult to do. In fact, I'm going to show you how you can do it. You can back up your data, or you can back up the entire hard drive. Everything from the operating system. It depends on what you prefer. If you have an older computer and you just want to back up your files, fine. You know, you can do that. You can set up Windows. It will back up your data. Anything that you've created will get backed up. But keep in mind that it won't back up the operating system. If the hard drive fails, you're going to lose everything on it. And I'm going to show you some of the things that you can lose. With a backup, you can restore your hard drive back to the way it was before the crash. Now, I will get into all that and show you what you can do. Now, if you want to back up your data, you can use different medias. Flash drives, SD cards, USB jump drives. You can use them to help back up your data. Now, if you want to go as far as backing up the entire hard drive, which includes your programs that you've installed, such as Office, if your computer crashes, you're going to have to reinstall the software. Perhaps the operating system crashed. You can restore it. I'm going to show you two ways that you can back up your data. One, it just backs up your data, nothing else. Two, it backs up the operating system and the programs that you have installed. It uses a third-party plug-in, which I'm going to show you how to use and where you can get it. You can also use, now if you're going to back up a lot of data and you're going to keep these for a month or two, which I will go into details over that. You want to use something like this. It's a small 2.5-inch USB drive. You can get them in different sizes, all the way up to 6 terabytes. Everything from desktop backup drives, which are pretty sized, about the size of a book, or you can get these. They can go up to 6 terabytes. You choose how long you want to keep data, and I will go into details as to what you can do and how to do it. Now, to set it up, you can go down here to your Action Center and then choose All Settings. Or, if you want to, click your Start button in the lower left corner, you can choose Settings. This will bring you to this screen. Next, you want to go to Update and Security. Now you're going to come to this screen. On the left-hand side, click the third one down that says Backup. Now, the first thing you do when you use File History, you'll want to choose Add a Drive. The software is going to look for drives that it can use. As you can see here, it shows 2 drives. And again, I said you can use flash drives if you want to, or you can use external drives. And I'll show you the reasons why here later on. If you have a network attached storage device, you can also use network locations. This will bring up any kind of network drives that are attached to your network. If you upgraded your Windows 7 computer to Windows 10, you're going to see this pop up. This is to go to backup or restore. Now this was the original software in Windows 7. If you have backups using Windows 7 software, then this will allow you to restore data from that backup. Now over here, we've seen that the drive here, this is the one I want. So I'm going to select that drive. Now as you can see here, this has changed. Now it's backing up my files to another drive, and it will store them, the originals, if they're lost, damaged, or deleted. Especially like viruses and stuff. Or if you happen to make a mistake, you can still use these to go back. Now, once it's activated, you can choose more options. And here, this is going to show you how you want to currently set this up. Now, here you can back up now, which shows that it hasn't been backed up yet. Back up my files. This is the duration. This is how long or how often you want your data to be backed up. Now, for most of you, you can set it for daily. As you can see here, I have it set for daily. This means that once a day, my computer will be backed up. Now, the backups to keep, this determines how far back you want to be able to restore your computer. Now, there's two different types of backups, which I will go into later on, and probably in another video. But there's two different kinds. There's one called differential, and there's one called incremental. And I will go into the details of that. For Windows, it's going to use incremental data, which means that you'll have the first backup to be your full backup. Then each one after that is going to be incremental. So a backup will occur and and save the changes from the last backup or the last incremental backup. Now here you can use, depending on the size of your drive, you can only keep them for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, or 2 years. It depends on how far back you want to be able to restore your data files. Now if you choose forever, then that is going to tell the computer that you want to keep them, so if the drive gets full, then you have to use a different drive. But what the best thing to do for most people is you can choose 1 month or 3 months. This is how far back you can go. So I'm going to choose 1 month. Now, if you look down here at the bottom, you'll see where it says back up these folders. Now, these are all the folders that will be saved. These are the default folders. Any games that you're playing, links, downloads, your favorites, your contacts. If you have OneDrive, desktop, your searches, any folder that you want to be backed up, pictures, documents, camera rolls, that's your videos, your pictures, music. Down here at the bottom, you can choose folders not to include. If there's any folders that you don't want to include in this backup, you can add them here. Backup to a different drive. If your drive gets full and you want to use another drive, then you can use this one. It'll stop using the current drive, and then you can add another drive to continue your backups. And again, down here you see your related settings. Now, what you'll do, once you have everything set the way you want it, you choose Backup Now. Now, if you use file history, keep in mind, it will only back up your data, nothing else. If you have a virus on the computer, if you make a mistake, or some unforeseen reason as to why you have to restore your backups, then your file history would do the trick. Now, it only backs up data. That's it. The other one I'm going to show you is how you can back up the entire operating system. Everything from Windows all the way to your data. Every single piece of information on your computer. Now, it's a handy software. This is one I often recommend and I use myself. And you've probably seen the video before. The program is called the AOMEI Backupper. This is a software. I will have all the links in the descriptions below, and I'll have a link on the video. Now, I have done tutorials for this software in the past. I will have links for it to show you how to get to the software and see how to use it. It shows a complete tutorial on how to use this software. Now, as you can see here, this is the main one that you come to. Now, yours is going to look different because you haven't created the backup with it for it. Now, this software is free. There's no fee for it. It's absolutely free. I'll have links to the video to show you how to use the software and how you can get your free copy of the software. It's very, very, very handy. And I highly recommend this to all my subscribers and all you new subscribers. I do highly recommend this to back up your computer. This is great because if the hard drive fails, you can still use this backup to restore the computer. If the hard drive fails, viruses, the worst case scenario, if that hard drive fails, you lose all data on it. For instance, let me see if I can show it to you here. You see this partition right here? This one here is what you'll see on a lot of computers. You may not, because sometimes they do hide these to prevent you from deleting them. Because this partition, which says Recovery D, yours probably say something different. It'll probably say something like factory image or recovery. It just depends on the manufacturer. But this right here is a very important partition. This is in the event that you have to refresh or reset your operating system. That is where this comes from. Now, if the hard drive crashed, then you lose this data. There's no way to retrieve your operating system if that hard drive crashed. Now, yeah, the file history works great to back up your data if you're not worried about the hard drive crashing. Because if the hard drive crashes, you lose everything, including this partition, and that partition is critical. Now, the software that you see here will help you preserve that information. Then that way, if your hard drive does crash and the hard drive has to be replaced, all you have to do is restore the backup to the drive, and it'll look like as if nothing ever happened. It'll go right back to the point that backup was created. So you want to make sure that your backups are up to date. Even if you have to do it once a week or once a month, you want to make sure that your backups are up to date. The more frequent you do a backup, the more accurate the backup is and the most recent it is in case the hard drive fails. Now, I'm not wanting you to go in there and save it every hour. That's going to take up a lot of storage space. But, if you're running a business, you want to at least back them up once a day when you're running a business. If you're like the average user, you're just on there looking for emails, pictures, documents, things like that, then you can use file history and all that. But you'd be good for, if you do it like once a week, once a month at most, your backups will be up to date. So if the hard drive failed, then you can still restore your operating system, your computer, everything back to that point in time that the backup was created. Now, I'm going to show you how to create the backup. This is going to be a quick one. I do have full tutorials of the software on our channel. Now, what you'll do is you'll create new backup. Now, when you create a new backup, it's going to ask you what kind of backup you want to do. If you want to do a system backup, this only backs up the primary partition, which in this case is drive C. Drive C is your primary drive. Now, if your computer does have a recovery partition, you want to do a disk backup. Disk backup will back up all the data on that drive from start to finish. Any data on that drive will be backed up. Now, here you can give it a name. Step 1, you're going to show the drives that you have. Then here, as you can see here, disk 0. Now this is the primary drive. It'll always show up as disk 0. This is your very primary drive. This is where everything is stored. You had the system, recovery, and then you have the recovery partitions right here. Now you want everything on there to be backed up. And then choose Add. Now when you choose Add, it's going to show you that you have disk 0, the size of the drive, how much space on that drive is being used, and if you want, you can add another drive. But you want disk 0. That's everything on that drive will be stored. Next, you'll choose step 2. Now step 2 is the drive that you want to use to store the backup. And this will be the drive that you plugged in. If you're not sure which one, you can always go to this PC and you'll see this one right here. This, whatever you name the drive, that's the drive you'll see here. As you can see, it's assigned to the letter G. So, I got G selected. Now you can also do backup options. Here you can leave a comment if you want to make a note about this as to what this backup is for. You can also do compression. Compression, what it does is it compacts the backup so it can take up less space. Depending on how much space you have, most cases you can use high. This will compress it as much as possible to save the most amount of space. Splitting, this is really only needed if you're going to use DVDs to back up your data, which you can. That's what this is for. Intelligent sector, you want to check this all the time because this only backs up data that's being used. Any cluster or sector on the hard drive that contains data that is in use and active will be backed up. Now this right here, if you do an exact backup, this will back up every single sector on that drive, even if it does not have data in it. It will still back it up. VSS, that is the volume shadow service. What this does is it creates a backup of your system. This allows you to back up your computer without interrupting the programs. And that's what this does. So you do want to use the VSS service. And then just choose OK. Now on here, you'll get this message to let you know that that data or that drive that you're on may have insufficient data space. So you want to make sure that the drive that you're going to use is going to have enough space to store the data. This one already has a backup on it, but I want to show you how to do this. So all you have to do next is choose Start Backup. Now the backup will begin. It'll give you an estimate on how long it will take for each partition. Depending on how much data there is, you're looking at anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Here you're seeing check backup integrity. What this will do, the process is a lot longer because it checks the integrity to make sure that the backup did back up correctly and there's no errors. You can also set it to shut down the computer when it's finished. So if you want to do this there in the middle of the night, just set this up, let it back up, and then you can go to bed. When you wake up the next morning, this will be completed. Well, I hope this video was helpful. Got you some ideas as to how to back up your computer. I'm going to go into more details as to how the backup is going to work and what choices you have and how they differ from one method to another. Well, I'm your host, MrFixit. Thank you for watching.